welcome to another edition of Knights of the Roundtable. I'm your host, Jerry Middleton, and with us tonight is panelists Rick Fletcher and Mark Kirkhoff. And also with us today is JV basketball coach Melanie Berger and boys basketball coach Brent Ross. Everybody, good to be here again today.
Thanks.
Happy to be back.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. So hopefully everything's going good for everybody. Girls basketball opened the season last night up at Randolph Southern, and it was an interesting night for them, I would say.
Yes. Very
Um,
interesting.
Did not come out with a win. A lot of unforced error turnovers in the game, and some free throw shooting that was, is just hard. And of course, it's game one, and once again, we talk about we've had 5 new starters on the floor, and it's game one. So, Rick, why don't you start off with questions here, and we'll get things rolling.
So, Melanie, we're going to start right there. And we've mentioned before, Jerry, you and I, that you got 5 new starters. And what I saw on the floor last night in last night's ball game, you guys are young, very young. You had a lot of freshmen out there getting varsity time. So, speak to what's going on. What are you doing in practice to acclimate these youngsters coming up and playing?
So with our young kids, I think a lot of them, it's come down to, like we have Ava Mike still running our point guard position, and she's a freshman. And she's come in, and at that junior high level, I think that group, because they're so talented, they haven't had to run a structured offense. And so we're trying to get those kids to see the bigger picture, to see the floor, and make better passes. A lot of them are learning how to do the overhead passes, cross-court passes. We're trying to teach them in practice to eliminate those passes. Bob is a huge fan of the bounce pass, and he gets on them every single day in practice about.
That's your assistant coach,
yes,
Bob.
Bob Wright.
Okay.
Yes, he's on them every day about fakes and bounce passes. So we're trying to eliminate the turnovers, the silly turnovers, and try to get rid of that.
There is a big step when you go from middle school to high school. There's no doubt about it. But there's some talented freshmen on there. I mean,
Absolutely.
That can come out, and they're probably going to contribute a lot to your program this year.
Yeah, they're a solid group, that freshman class. They know basketball. They're talented. They're skilled. They just got to learn how to work in a system. They haven't had to do that yet, I don't think.
Yeah, you've only got 2 seniors.
Yes.
Okay, one of them's coming back, Anna, coming back after 2 years off. She actually had a pretty good ball game last night.
Yeah, she started off a little slow last night. She wasn't she's one that's also learning our system and our offenses, and but in the second quarter she had a couple breakaway layups, and she had like the biggest smile on her face on the first one that she got. She was but she looked like she was having fun out there last night, and especially in the second half.
Well, I turned around to her mom and dad was sitting behind me up there. She went in on that first layup, and I'm like, she should have tomahawked that.
Yeah.
Go up, freaking tomahawk dunked it, and that would have been great.
Yeah.
No, I thought she had a great game last night.
She did.
Yeah,
I
so
thought she
with
really played
young teams, you're just looking for progression throughout the season.
Absolutely.
And you're young, even your sophomores. You got sophomores that are going to contribute a lot this year. So you're very, very young on all over the floor.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Mark, what do you have for today?
I wanted to talk about Brent because being in the hallways, getting a little bit of perspective, and their season officially starts on Monday, and we've had a long tradition of success that spanned for a good time now, but there's still excitement. There's still new kids that are wanting to kind of try out for the team and be a part of that program. So what are some things that you've done, that your staff has done to try and maintain that enthusiasm to be a part of that? Because I feel like sometimes kids feel like they're pigeonholed. I can't do that. And so maybe numbers dwindle, but...
Now, we had 37 kids try out last week for our junior high. We made those cuts. And then, I don't start until cross country and tennis that first week of October, which is their sectionals. That's when we start conditioning and working hard. I started, this is my 29th year. I started 3 times early when I came to Northeastern in the last, I was with, Melanie was with me on the girls' side, so about 15 years I've been here total. Those 3 years, I was burnt out in January if I'm burnt out, we're burnt out, the kids are burnt out. So we don't start. And so I think that everybody's chomping at the bit. So our numbers, I mean, we've had between, 19 and 22 without the football kids every night since we started, that first week of October. And, I only like to keep 18. I'll keep between 18 and 20 because I want every kid to be able to play on the JV and varsity. It doesn't do me any good to keep 34 kids and nobody can dribble with their left hand. So, we want every kid to, that we keep on the team to participate and be a part of it. And I think that's where a lot of that excitement comes out. And it's hard. I think this is the hardest time of the year, and you guys have all coached, when you got to tell somebody that, or you have to cut them and they're not going to be a part of it. I mean, we kept 10 kids on each of the 7th and 8th grade with one alternate, and which is kind of a new thing for us with COVID. And those kids, those 2 kids that are going to be alternates on each team, if a kid doesn't, go to class or gets a detention or misses practice or whatever else, that alternate's going to address that next game. And those 2 kids have never made the team before, so they're really excited to be a part of it as well. And it's a new thing we're trying, but last year we was going into games with 5-6 kids because we had 5 that had contact tracing, and so we don't want to lose games, so we kept 2 extras. But we, uniform wise, we really want to stick to 10 dressing. I think that's a good number, especially at the junior high.
Well, we've got a quick question here from our studio audience. I'd like to thank Robert for filling his card out.
Is that Tim's brother? I'm asking
He's
that
right
right
back
now.
there in the
Tim?
crowd.
I don't know if they're related or not. You guys related? Oh, yeah, okay. No problem. But this is going to be a hot topic. And it's being experimented with in 3 states. A couple states already do it. But it's basically by league and not by state adoption. Shot clock, high school basketball. I mean, the purists in Indiana are going to be like, no. But then, the new movement is probably going to be, yeah, we need it because the game has changed. Melanie, what's your thoughts on that?
I think it could be something very useful at our level. I mean, I know Sarah, and we've talked about it, and Sarah's all for it. She's like, she doesn't like, at the girls level, like, she hates a delay offense. For teams to be able to stall out at the end of the game, and they can just run a delay offense, and I know that we're all for it. I think that, like I said, the game is changing, and maybe we need to change with it. It might be.
Brent, what's your thought?
Well, it's been talked about a long time, and of course the paper did an article a few years back and got interviewed about it. But we play fast, we press and we play that style, so it would definitely benefit us when we're playing a team like Connorsville, who takes great shots, wants to keep the game in the 30s and 40s, and so it would benefit us, either way. But I also understand the coaching side of it. Kerry Brown's one of the best there is around. For him to compete and get to the regional and semi-state against Ben Davis, Southport, Pike, and face those athletes, the shot clock benefits the athletes. I mean, if you're going to play that kind of style, but it takes a lot of coaching, a lot of skill to play slow down as well. So, I see both ways. And, you were talking earlier about the expense and the cost. There's a lot of schools that can't afford, our kids pay player packs now. We don't provide them with shoes and travel suits and stuff. And so, there's a lot of expense that goes into sports anyway for kids to play at a smaller school that don't get the big corporate sponsorships and stuff. So I think the expense would have something to do with it. But if it came in, it wouldn't change anything that we do. And it would have to change teams like Connorsville.
Rick, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I would be in favor of a shot clock. It gets rid of the 5-second rule. Okay,
that's
it
a
would
good point.
Speed up the game. You make it 35 seconds. That's going to be enough. Even for, you mentioned Kerry Brown down in Connorsville. He runs that slow tempo offense. I think that'd be enough for teams to adjust to be able to do that. So that would be my initial thought right there. Again, I didn't realize the expense of that, Jerry, as we were talking earlier, how expensive that would be for schools to
You'd probably be looking at close to $5,000 to put the shot clocks in. By the time you get the units, the clocks, the cost of putting them in, I mean, scoreboards are expensive.
Yeah. And you know, and you mentioned player pay. It is expensive. Kids have to pay, you know, to participate in.
And we got
sports.
some really good boosters that help with kids that can't afford it.
Yeah.
So we do work it out, but it's it is expensive. You know, when you talk about the shot clock, when I coached at IU East, you know, for 3 years, you know, the 30, 35 seconds, there's strategy and all that. I mean, our press was totally different. Our press was more or less to try to get them to use 10 to 15 seconds before they could get into their offense. You know what I mean? So then they only have 15 seconds to run an offense. If you're really pressuring, keeping it out of their point guard's hands to where they can set up something, you know, it changes the game. That's why, you know, the bad thing about the shot clock is I think the NBA now is a 3-point shooting contest.
Yeah.
Because a lot of shot clock, you know, stuff. I mean, it's just up and down, and you know, so I think at that point, college, you know, they're recruiting a lot more 3-point shooters. I mean, every kid that comes in and looks at Raiden loves the fact that he's shooting a 3.
Yeah.
That he can shoot from outside.
Yeah.
Mark, what about?
And I'm glad you brought up IU East, because I was just thinking since you've coached at both the high school and college level, do you think with adding a shot clock to high school it could help, or would it benefit exposure for some kids? So let's say Kerry Brown at Connersville, who does run a little bit of a slower tempo, would maybe it benefit some of those types of styles of kids to get more exposure, seeing that they could play at a faster pace and still play poised?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, they all know that they're going to be fundamentally sound, and most of those kids get looked at, you know, with AAU. Now, if you want to do away with AAU, I'm completely happy with that, because then we have to break all those bad habits from the AAU. You know, they actually have to sprint back on defense and play defense in high school. So, but yeah, I think you know, I think they do look at those. I mean, when I came back to high school, I basically turned my program into a small college. I mean, you know, I've got assistants that do huddle. I got assistants that do the scouting report. We have a sports information director. I basically modeled the program here just like a small college, you know, and everybody has their duty, you know, and we got great guys that do their job and their roles. And yeah, I think it has helped. I mean, you're talking about that. We got 3 alumni played, you know, all in the last week that, you know, 3 different systems that are doing really well. And, you know, Earlham's coach, you know, I've talked to him several times. He's integrating some of the stuff that we do into their system there. And Colton had a great game last night, you know, so.
Well, you know, I think AAU. I think that's going to be a great subject for next week. And somebody in our studio audience, I'm sure, is going to bring up AAU, because I would really like to dive into that one next week. Because I mean, I got my own thoughts on that, and it's not good.
It's
you know,
where they do get exposure. It's where those colleges all can go on one day and watch
a bunch of different players.
Yes, exactly.
But you know, I mean, I was a referee some of those, and I was sitting there. Tom Izzo, he's there, and this kid comes by and starts running his mouth, griping, throwing his hands up in the air. So I just tech him. You know, what the heck? It's AAU. We move on. I look down, and Izzo takes his pencil and goes, puts a line right through it. And said, okay, move on. And afterwards, I talked to him. I said, why'd you take the line out? And he goes, I don't need to recruit problems. They'll come to me. And so that's their attitude. So, I mean, FYI, for those watching, you know, got to control.
Just play.
Got to play. Just play. Play the game.
We have Brandon Ramsey come in every year, and now he's with, you know, Prep Hoops, Indiana Prep Hoops, and we have him come in every year and talk to the kids about what colleges, because he's been an assistant in several different small programs, and on what they're looking for. You know, what you need to do to carry yourself, how you carry yourself, and classroom and everything.
So I'd like to ask both you guys. It's not just varsity basketball that you're coaching. You got a whole feeder system that both of you are involved in. So Melanie, tell us about the feeder system and how important that is, that developing those players at a young age.
It's really important now, especially, I mean, you have kids starting in 1st, 2nd grade now, like trying to play organized basketball. And I think just recently Sarah has started, we're playing at the 3rd and 4th grade level for the girls, and during my time and when I coached with Brent, that wasn't there. So I mean, that's something that's new on the girls' side. I know it's been there for the boys for a while, and it's exciting to see those young girls. And I know Coach Mayo has a really good reputation with those girls at the elementary level because she's in that building and she sees them every day, and she's trying to develop those relationships with those girls and getting them excited about playing basketball. And I'm glad to see it, that it's becoming more of a norm for girls, seeing girls at the younger level playing, because I mean, we're at a numbers crunch this year, and we need those younger players to get excited about playing basketball, and so that we're not having these years where we don't have enough people to field a JV team. I think that, but I think Sarah's doing a really good job developing that program.
And Brett, you've been doing it for a while.
I think stability, like she's saying, has been huge, and I think it's huge in whatever, you're running a business or coaching or even administration or whatever. You got to have stability. Vanessa and Chris Curtis have been with me since day one. Chris was our 9th grade coach under Coach Bolzer. When I took over, I went and met with him and her and asked if he would be interested in running the 5th and 6th grade program and doing it exactly how I wanted it done. And it's not about wins and losses at that level. It's about every kid plays 2 quarters except in the tournament. It's about fundamentals, development. I want him to have fun. Yeah. And he has done a great job with that. And then in 7th and 8th grade, we've had it's hard to keep certain coaches there, but I started out with Corey Ryan, which is also, he was our junior high girls with me, and he did a great job, him and Tyler Moore and Ryan Seal, as far as starting that program out. And that's where we start implementing the press and all the things that they do. So the last 2 weeks I've been doing double with the 7th and 8th because Bailey Stewart is now our new 7th grade coach who played for me. And Frazier Phillips has been with us, but we're making sure that their first 45 minutes of practice emulates exactly what our first 45 minutes is. And so that way they get used to the fundamentals and doing the same thing. And so I think stability, like she said, has been big. Melanie was with me, on the girls' side. She actually coached our 2nd grade boys too, the last couple of years, 2nd, 3rd, helping out. And then congratulations on getting Coach Oler, our head football coach, to be our 5th and 6th grade girls program coach now.
Okay, he's really good.
Congratulations to Coach Oler. And,
I think he's got a daughter coming up there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
He was my JV coach for a while. He was under Coach Tiddister at Centerville. Wes knows the game. He does all our huddle stuff behind the scenes and he's one of the guys that's in the program that people really don't know he's in the program.
I just hope he doesn't call a quarterback sneak in the game, and the person just takes off and running. We have a pile on there.
And he also played for Coach Detweiler down at Union County.
Yes, he did for Mark. Yeah. He's one of their all-time leading scorers, and I did the scouting report against him. When he played against us.
So he's had exposure to
tell my age a little bit.
Yeah.
But
3 really good coaches.
Yeah.
Well, I always tell people, I get up referee a lot of games where, I got one coming up where a team from Tennessee's coming up to play like Southport. I always get these out-of-state teams, and they'll sit back and lag off on defense a little bit. And of course, we got our little chubby outside 5'8" guys sitting there just going. Hitting 3 after 3, and I'm telling guys that, look, man, in Indiana, you don't let these guys shoot because they will kill you out there.
Yeah.
One more question for Coach Berger here.
All right.
Okay.
I want to talk about our seniors real quick.
Sure.
Anna coming back after 2 years, and Jill might be one of the fan favorites for the Northeastern
She
crowd.
should be.
But could you ask for any better seniors? Because they seem to be all about making sure that the girls are kind of getting along, being a team, and I don't think either one of them really craves that personal attention.
No, and I know Jill does not crave personal attention. She would rather be like over in the corner reading a book. Like she's just one of those kids. Like Anna and Jill, I think for their senior year, is they're going out and they're looking to have fun, and I think that those two. They bring no negative energy. They're just positive all the time, and they get along with everybody on the team. And I think Jill, like you said, Jill does Jill things. She's all over the place. She got grabbed tons of rebounds last night. She got us a ton of extra possessions in the fourth quarter that we probably wouldn't have had Jill not been out there on the floor. And Anna, like you said, stepped up big time in the second half for us last night. Again, grabbing big boards, and they're going to be fun to watch. I'm so glad Anna came back out. I mean, I wasn't here her freshman year when she played, but she hasn't played the last 2 years. But I think she came in and she had fun last night, and she said that after the game. She's like, I was just having fun, and she had a big smile on her face. And even though we had the loss last night, I mean, I think we're going to learn a lot from that, and it's not about last night's loss. It's what we're going to be come sectional time. I mean,
So
we have
no rest for the weary. You
No.
guys are right back at it
Yes.
Tuesday night in Muncie Central in the field house we
Yeah.
referred to. And then next weekend you got 2 home games back to back, Friday and Saturday. So
Yeah, and also on that, as a reminder, Friday night game here is a 6:30 JV start. Okay, and the varsity game will probably start about 7:30. JV's playing 2 quarters, and I believe in a lot of your paraphernalia that you're going to have out there is going to show Saturday's game as a 6 o'clock. That's incorrect. It's a noon JV tip,
Yeah.
which is probably going to put probably 1:45 or not 1:45, 12:45 to 1 o'clock varsity tip,
yeah.
and that's at home also. And if you can't make it, My Team Live TV will be there with Rick and myself, and on a few select broadcasts this year, Mr. Kirkhoff will be joining us, and also our post-game shows and pre-game shows.
Yeah.
Mayo on the side and Ross in the paint with Ross. So
Clever, very clever.
very clever. Oh, you wait till you see the intro for Mayo on the side. It's good.
We want to reiterate, though, and I'm going to say this, we want you at the ball game. So come out and support these kids. I'd love to see the stands filled right to the rim, turning people away. If you can't, tune into the broadcast. You can always watch the replay.
Yep.
All right? It's always fun to watch the replay, I think, because you get to see what actually went on from a better viewpoint. But be in the stands, come out and support these kids. They work hard, and we really want you there to support them. So that's my pitch for getting people in the stands.
Well, we're filming this on a Saturday morning in our palatial estate in the West Wing.
And it's changing every time we come in,
and it's
Jerry.
changing. We've got a little bit of a budget now, so we're going to be changing some things.
Very little.
Very little budget. I mean, a dollar's still little. It's still a budget. But anyway, so some wrap-up items here. We've been going about a little over 20 minutes, 25 minutes. You have any good for the order for the girls' basketball? Anything coming up?
We have our pulled pork dinner this evening. I know that we would. I don't know if I should say, but we're gonna have lots of extras. So it might be just a drive-through style. If you want to come up and bring $10, it's $10 a plate. You can probably come up and get you some dinner tonight.
How much for a piece of Wix pie?
We might be selling them by the
slice.
by the slice, or by the whole thing.
I'll
I
take
think
by the
about
whole
$7 for a pie.
I'm heading to Fort Wayne tonight for the Mad Ants game, and so I may eat a whole pie on the way up.
Yeah.
We got a couple alumni from last year's
Yes,
squad that are
that's right.
starting their college careers. So
Yeah, Emma Wright is playing for Wilmington College. She starts off her college journey today, and Willow Runyon, she's playing Monday night for Earlham. So
they were a fun group. I
Yeah.
mean, they were fun to watch
Yep.
all
Yep.
the way through.
Yes.
Talented.
yes,
Talented. So.
Yeah. Colden Van Lanningham opened up last night
Yeah,
in his first college game. Actually kept him in it, had an opportunity to win. The other team hit a big 3, but he had 18 points. And then, Tyler Smith's playing for the number 2 team in the country, and they had a huge win against crosstown rival Indiana Tech, and Grant Smith
Oh,
from
yeah.
Connersville. He hit a couple big 3s in that ball game, and then was a huge impact for them down the stretch. And then Freeman Brew, he's going to be a huge factor. He's been a starter the last couple of years at Denison, and he had 14 points in their scrimmage, and so good luck to all 3 of those. Keep close tabs on them. Colden came into practice last Saturday and watched. His little brother's a freshman, so he's kind of pushing him a little bit, I think. But A lot of good things going on.
Well, you know, you talk about teammates. They were arch rivals in high school and now become teammates in college.
Oh no, they
You know.
they played against each other, Grant and Tyler.
Well, and let's
Oh yeah.
put the hurt to them then. No, but you know, for a lot of people, you know, in high school they're arch enemies, and suddenly they go to college and they're like, hey, you know what? They're pretty cool. And
Well, I think
it happens a bunch.
yeah, they respect what they
Yeah.
each other accomplished, and you know, a lot of them become friends for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and you know, I still have a lot of relationships with people I played against.
Mark, you got anything for?
No, I'm ready to get back to another week of
Time too.
girls basketball and ready to see the first week of official practice for the boys. And
I'm excited. The girls playing at home this weekend to watch them.
Yeah.
You know, and Melanie's been around. You know, and Sarah's been around. You know, they don't consider losses right now. They're working on their weaknesses, and you know, got some that I'm sure they improve on. And so good luck this week. Muncie Central's pretty good, so
Yeah.
They're fast.
Yeah.
I talked to a couple guys who refereed and said they are fast.
So, but-
Well, we're just gonna have to get the Jets on.
That's
all
right.
there is to it.
Yeah.
Hey, good luck to both of you
thank you.
Thank you.
guys. I mean,
Yeah.
we're really pulling for you. I'm a homer, and I don't mind saying that. Okay, I want all kinds of success for the school,
Right.
and you know, show up, come to the games. You'll have a lot of fun. You'll see some good basketball. Support the kids, and they love it when the kids love it when the stands are packed and the cheer block is boisterous. And so come to the games, and again, good luck to both you guys in your
Appreciate it.
seasons. And
Thank you.
let's go win those sectionals, regionals, and head right on down the line.
That's right.
Well, I think that's going to be about a wrap for the weekend for this show. I'm Jerry Middleton, and for Rick Fletcher, Mark Kirkhoff, and Melanie Berger, and Brent Ross, this has been a Two Old Guys production.
I love it.
And it's also been a good night.